Hi, ho everyone. My name is Mr. Fruit, and welcome back to the GG Over Easy Podcast, episode 131. In today's episode, we discuss the brand new Overwatch 2 PvP beta. It's here. What are our thoughts? Why is there a 2? So many questions. There is time. We answer it all. I also go on a little bit of a rant, which I don't really do, about Halo.
It was awesome, though.
So prepare yourselves. Back from the dead, Skull and Bones. Most of you don't even know what that was. But stay tuned. Blue isn't here. However, his opinion about a movie is.
It is.
As well as some of our experiences in La Toiletta, The Lord of the Rings, TV show, and other things, including questions and answers. So stay tuned. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Love you guys. Let's get into it. Pardon your regularly scheduled podcast listening for this short ad break.
Those big wireless providers forget that families come in all shapes and sizes. That's why Mint Mobile decided to shake up the wireless industry with their brand new modern family plan. Each line starts at $15 a month, and you only need 2 lines to get started. No matter how big or small your family is, you deserve to save on your wireless service. Mint Mobile showed me that Sydney and I could be saving $65 a month on both of our phone payments just by switching to this family plan. For everyone who hates their phone bill, Mint Mobile offers wireless for just $15 a month. All plans come with unlimited talk, text, high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Plus, Mint Mobile's modern family plan lets you mix and match data plans so everyone gets the amount of data that's right for them. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and get the same phone number along with your existing contacts. Switch to Mint Mobile and get premium wireless services starting at $15 a month. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month, including the modern family plan, go to mintmobile.com/GG. That's mintmobile.com/GG. Cut your wireless bill to just $15 a month at mintmobile.com/GG. No one likes waiting on a paycheck, especially when you got bills due. Good thing there's Chime. Now you can get your paycheck up to 2 days early with direct deposit. That's up to 2 days more to save for bills, pay bills, and generally just feel good about your money situation. But Chime is more than just about getting paid early. It's also an award-winning mobile app, checking account, debit card, and optional savings account. I could do so much with having my check 2 days before I normally get it. That'd be sweet. So what are you waiting for? Hopefully not your paycheck. Get started with Chime today. Applying for a free account takes less than 2 minutes. Get started at chime.com/GGOverEasy. That's chime.com/GGOverEasy. Banking services and debit card provided by the Bank Corp and Stride Bank NA, members FDIC. Early access to direct deposit funds depends on payer. What I also love about Chime, it's also a big credit builder. So thank you again, Chime, for sponsoring this podcast. Please go to chime.com/GGOverEasy. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. Life can be overwhelming, and many people are burned out without even knowing it. Symptoms can include lack of motivation, feeling helpless or trapped, detachment, fatigue, and more. With my experience with BetterHelp, they helped me identify my burnout, especially with like Twitch streaming and content creation, and helped me learn healthy ways of dealing with that rather than just feeling like sad all the time about it, and showed me good, healthy avenues to take rather than just the bad ones, you know? We associate burnout with work, but there's not only the cause. Any of the roles in life can lead to us feeling burned out, and BetterHelp Online Therapy wants to remind you to prioritize yourself. Talking to someone can help you figure out what's causing that stress in your life. BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you do not want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can be matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp, and GG Over Easy listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/GG. That's BetterHelp.com/GG.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to GG Over Easy Podcast, episode 131. Thank you for joining us today. You are joined by, myself and Rob. And Blue is, I don't know. He
AFK. We don't know.
Actually, he could be dead. We're not sure.
Yeah. We hope not. I
certainly hope not.
What if that ages poorly? I will be so sad, and
that would kind of be like that one time I made your mom joke. I would never make that joke. Blue.
Yeah.
He might just hop in at some point. We're not sure.
And
so
we got a podcast to do, baby. We got to get people the episode. You know.
We got to get him the sauce. Speaking of sauce, doesn't have anything to do with sauce. But I was struggling this morning, my dude.
In terms of
I start leg day, right? I started working out.
okay.
Just a couple exercises. I'm like, ooh, I got poop. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, all right, it's time to poo poo. I kid you not. I don't think I have never felt like this is it than this morning. I thought I was gonna die in the toilet. I thought it was dead.
Can I? Is it more of like here pain or there pain?
Butt pain, but like it was a combination of. So here's the thing: I've been dieting for a while on a caloric deficit.
What does that mean?
Which
like
part?
what does your diet consist of?
Oh, well, the biggest part first I was a caloric deficit, so I'm eating around 2,000 calories every day, and then the diet itself is like breakfast. Got my protein French toast, and then I've thrown in some fruit, some fiber. I got like some strawberries, blueberries.
Now you got your Factor.
That's right, and then lunch is usually Factor. Snack is a protein shake, and then other snack is usually like Greek yogurt, and then dinner depends on if what I've eaten. So it might be another Factor, it might be a healthy frozen meal.
You like parfaits, so you make yourself a nice good parfait.
Parfaits are good. Yeah, we like parfaits.
Yeah, I tried to do that. I got a bunch of stuff for parfaits. I threw all the fruit away because I didn't eat it all, and it's moldy.
Yeah, so. you got to act quick.
Yeah, that's my bad.
But anyway, so the point is, eating so few calories, and working as much as I do, I don't poop very often. It's about every other day, just because my body, because essentially what's happening is when you're pooping, you're pooping out excess stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Stuff your body, it's doesn't like a little too much, or it's like, all right, well, we got to get rid of some of the byproduct, all that kind of stuff, or just something we just can't even digest right now. Well, my body's just like, bruh, we need everything. So I don't poop that often. But right now, today, when I did, boy, it was like a mix of constipation and I'm trying to think of the best. It's like, I'll tell you this. It felt like I had just been probed anally. And if that's it don't feel good. All right? Because somebody was sticking a monster, brother. And
dude, that can't be like, that's got to be like a condition or something. Like,
well, it was just like, you look in the toilet.
Do you have a Hemi?
No. But I was like, this is it. There's no way I get out of this without. It was a mix of like, I'm going to get a hernia. I'm going to get hemorrhoids. And I think I'm going to pass out.
Can I ask what a hernia is? Now, I'm going to give you my interpretation of a hernia.
Okay.
It's when you push too hard and your butthole goes inside out, correct?
No.
Okay, wrong.
A hernia. I don't know this specifically. I think hernia isn't necessarily. I want to say it's only a hernia specifically related to your stomach, around there. But I believe a hernia, and I'll double check this. I'm going to give you what I think, and then we'll figure out how wrong I am.
Okay.
Hernia is essentially a hole. You essentially rip the muscle or whatever. You strain it so much or something, and something rips, and then some stuff can get sucked in or whatever. As far as I know, it's not good, because I know that that's when you go to the doctor and they're like, hey, they touch your balls and they're like, hey, look to the right and cough.
Yeah.
They're trying to make sure your balls don't get sucked in, because if you have a hernia, your ball it can get sucked into that hole. Yeah. Could you imagine? You sit there like, oh my God, where did it go?
Yo, I haven't been to the doctors in like 3 years.
You should probably work on that. So that is my very primitive knowledge of a hernia.
No, you look about right. I'm looking at this thing. It says like abdominal muscle, and then there's like a gap, and then it is a loop of the intestine, kind of lipping out into. That doesn't look great.
So yeah, I think I kind of get so it can either sometimes bring things in, but especially in this case, things can bulge. Specifically, it says it happens when a part of an internal or tissue bulges through a weak area of muscle. because you're straining that muscle and then just kind of.
Yo, good thing my muscles are like A1. Like, I got strong muscles. Like that didn't happen.
I must have, because this morning, and it was even worse because this is what it felt like. If I don't try and push this thing out, it's stuck. Like it's not passing on its own. Like I got buckled down and I got to get this thing out, right?
Grab the spoon.
Poor Claire's in the kitchen and I'm in the bathroom. She's like, "What is going on?"
Wait, you did this on the main floor bathroom?
Well, because I was in the gym.
What is wrong with you?
I was in the in my garage, so that's the closest bathroom.
Get to a private area.
Well, you know what?
Somebody at Fruit Summit took a bomb in there and it like ruined the living room.
I never poop in there, but the problem too is because we don't have my squatter potty in there. Like if you don't have
weren't at a perfect ratio.
No, here's the worst part. I was trying to. I had to strain myself. Like my calves were getting the greatest workout of their life. It was a second leg day because I'm having to like prop myself up to try. I'm like, I should have just called like, "Babe, get the squatter potty." But I had to make my own squat potty. It was like I'm writhing in pain, man. And I was like, either I pass out or this thing's coming out, or both. And I don't know which is gonna happen. And the poop has never hurt that much. It was miserable. It was.
Sorry, dude.
It was like.
Did you look at the crime scene?
Yeah, there was blood for sure. It wasn't as much as I thought, though.
Bro, like that's not a normal thing.
No, it's not. But I knew pushing that thing out. I'm like, something ripped.
Bro,
there's no way.
What?
So
I don't think I've ever pooped blood. I've puked blood.
But you tell me you don't even look at the toilet though.
Sometimes,
But see, I look every time.
My poops are very I don't know. I'm in and out, dude. I don't like.
But so see, I've seen every one of my poops, so I know. But you haven't. So your data set is a little
very.
Yeah, for all we know, everyone you haven't looked at has been blood. How would we know? So anyway,
I don't like. Oh yeah, because you like.
But it wasn't much. I was.
That's good.
Because there was one time, a couple years ago, where I felt like a similar.
I think you took a pig, right? Like, is that the one?
Well, no, that one was with like coagulated blood. I was trying to figure that, and that was because of meds or something. But there was one time I had a similar poop, and I looked down, and the toilet bowl water was red, essentially. And I was like, "Oh my!" I thought I was dying.
Fuck.
But so,
all right, I'm just trying to breathe at the moment and not gag.
So this
because I'm thinking about that picture.
Well, this one I was like, that it's got to be the same thing, and it wasn't. I don't know how.
Well, did you think you were passing a kidney stone at all?
No. What? Those go through your penis anyway.
Well, yeah, but you don't pee and poop at the same time.
Well, I do, but the pain was not coming from the frontal area.
Okay.
And so yeah, woof, man. It was. It's like when they say, like a baby's head's coming in the wrong direction. I feel like that was the poop, because if the poop had oriented itself,
it came out
this way,
sideways, like this.
Right. Like instead of just going like this straight, easily, it's coming out like this. So I'm like, it was.
Yeah, that sounds like a bad time.
And then I had to go do leg day after that. It was.
Have you this is a very guy question, but have you ever sat down, gone to the bathroom?
I'm sure
this has only happened to me like one time ever, because it's like it has to be the perfect kind of toilet, perfect angle, everything.
Right.
Have you ever peed sitting down and like before you poop, and the pee shoots between the gap in the toilet seat and the toilet itself, and then you pee kind of outward?
No.
You've never done that? I've done that like one or twice in my life.
Well, I'm trying to think. I don't think I've ever peed on a toilet where there was a big enough.
There's like a little it has to be. I'm telling you, it has to be like the perfect angle, and then you're like the way it just.
Well, see,
it has to.
I can almost picture because
it's happened like once in my life, and I was like, "What the fuck?" I was pissed.
There are certain toilets I'm thinking about. I guess I'm never really using it, but like I said, they seem older ones too, where the lid.
House.
Oh, right. The lid comes down and it has the little balls essentially.
Yep.
That's
exactly.
Those are the ones I think that would
see,
happen.
But you have the modern toilets where it's like just a lid.
Yeah,
and like there is no. Yeah, see, they have eliminated that problem in your world. In my world, it's still an issue.
I didn't even know that was an issue. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's very very niche issue, but it has happened to me.
I would just be looking like, what?
Yeah, it was the good thing I was at home though. Like it wasn't like a public place.
Yeah, when I went to my Aunt Linda's
Well-
once, I broke her toilet. That was embarrassing. And it
Well,
wasn't.
I'm glad
But the
you-
thing was, it's like whoever pooped on that next was gonna break it. It just happened to be me. And she had one of those real. I'm talking like this bathroom is from like the 50s, and it was like this old ceramic.
Is it one where like you pull like was it like a pulley one?
No,
Where it's like
they had installed like a, but it wasn't. It was like in between. They had like done some work on it, but like if I had tried to make a toilet bowl back in ceramics in high school, that's what it would have been essentially, the structural integrity. So I sit down and I'm just trying to poop, and then just I'm like, oh my, and the whole thing just cracks in half. Water starts going everywhere. I'm like, oh my.
no
It just
way.
like
And,
it
like,
wasn't even anything. It just like
what
just
sucks
straight
is
up.
you can't just leave the crime scene. Like
Nah.
you're there. Like
Yeah,
you
I'm
are
like-
there.
I'm in the bathroom. I'm like, Mom. So why? I'm like, you should come here
I'm in trouble.
and not bring anyone else. Yeah, that was embarrassing.
I'm trying to think. Oh, since the last podcast, Sydney and I have introduced Willow and Albus. Actually.
Oh yeah, how's that going?
Not too bad. First couple days, Willow was not about it at all. Here we are, I think a week into it now, and I wouldn't say she's all about him. Like he tried to lick her and like groom her, and she got fucking pissed. Yeah, she was like,
no.
yeah, not yet.
We're not there yet. You know.
Yeah, and then but like she goes and like plays with him, and then when we show up, she's like, "Oh, I hate him. Like, get away from me. Like, yeah, get away from me." And like hisses at him. But like when we're away, we literally hear him running all up and down the upstairs together. And then as soon as we show up, she's like,
It's not what it looks like.
yeah, but it's going okay. Nothing
Good
where
thing.
it's like he's hissing at her. He's like he has not once hissed at her. He's nothing but a like docile.
He's like,
creature.
bro, like let's just love each other.
Yeah,
dude.
let's just like relax.
just like let's.
so yeah,
You're a
that's
10 right now. Like let's bring that down.
Yeah, going way better.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Your
You know what
cats
is also
are
going way
fine?
better?
Oh.
Overwatch 2.
Hey.
Yeah.
Since time you listen to this, the Overwatch PvP beta released last Tuesday, specifically April 26th.
Yep.
And we've been playing every day. First day was the first couple hours of the first day were pretty rough.
Yeah.
Overwatch
pros, developer.
Because we know without dropping names, because hearsay. It's all hearsay, but I have heard from anonymous sources that during the alpha.
Okay, so you have a source, says.
Right. That during the alpha, what we experienced was essentially the alpha, which is why a lot of people weren't having fun, because the alpha was such a limited flight or whatever.
Ooh.
Yeah, that it was essentially like developers, Overwatch pros, and then a couple like family friends and content creators. But essentially, you would just queue up in every game. You're playing the same people, and it's just like a 5-stack of pros.
Yeah, it was like the average MMR was probably like 3,800 or something like that.
So for the first 3 hours of the PvP beta launch, that's what we're playing against every game. And so it was like, woof. Like, well, I think I even mentioned it too. I was like, this isn't going well. However, I'm frustrated because we're just playing people way better than us every game, and not because I think I described it like the way I'm dying. Not once was I like, that was so cheap. Because the thing I'm enjoying about Overwatch 2 the most, which, by the way, everybody's like, Overwatch 2, Omega, well, I can't believe blah, blah, blah. A lot of misinformation. First off, if you have Overwatch 1, Overwatch 2, this PvP thing going on right now is free. In fact, apparently, like once Overwatch 2 PvP launches, Overwatch 1 just disappears. You just download Overwatch 2. So if you already own it, it's free. Otherwise, they'll just be like buying Overwatch, which Ruben says is like on sale for $20 or has been for a while. But I am in the same boat where this should have gone the Fortnite route, where this should have been like Overwatch Chapter 2. not Overwatch 2, because I think it's
Can you still play Overwatch 1 when Overwatch 2 is out?
no. Well, it just replaces it.
Okay, so it's just okay.
So for some people, though, it will be sad because like some of the reworks and the old stuff and like the old 6v, like you just won't be able to play that anymore. But like Fortnite Chapter 2 did more than essentially what Overwatch 2 is doing. And
well, what did
Chapter 2 was
Chapter
just
2 bring? It was more so just lore.
well, no.
boats,
So that was
map.
like they completely remade the engine, graphic overhaul. That was when they did the graphics. Like that was when Fortnite went into that
the black hole.
Yeah. And then 3 days later showed up. For Overwatch, they went to the black hole, and instead of 3 days, it took 3 years. And it came out with a 2 on its name. I'm not hating it for the sake of hating, but yes, to everybody who's like, it looks like Overwatch 1, that's because this is just a big balance patch. Really.
Yeah.
They've added some maps. They're currently in the beta, there's only Sojourn, the new hero. But you gotta think, and I think it's been leaked, there'll be a couple more at launch, even though there should be like 8 or 9. We'll have to see. But yeah, like I think they're shooting themselves in the foot too, because everyone comes in here and is like, I'm confused. This looks like Overwatch 1. Well, yeah, because
it is.
It is, except like they have a new lighting engine, a new UI, but like aside from that, it's now 5v5.
You're not
66.
wrong, but it is also Overwatch. I don't know. It's weird. Like I don't want to say it's just Overwatch 1 because it's not.
Well, I say it's like Overwatch
is.
1.5. Like that's it's.
I just feel like with Overwatch 2, people are like, oh, it's going to be like totally different because it's 2 now or something. But in
that's what I'm
reality,
saying.
it's
They
like,
shot themselves in the foot.
Yeah, just stupid. Like it just doesn't make. It just makes me feel like even more so when they announced Overwatch 2 that it was a smokescreen type of announcement.
I mean, like Overwatch 2, the PvE thing makes sense. But especially now that they're splitting it, and so it's only like this PvP part's coming out first, it just doesn't make as much sense.
And can you guess when the Overwatch 2 was announced?
I mean, it was whatever Shanghai thing was. I want to say 20. Was it like summer 2020?
No, November 2019.
Jesus. Yeah. So yeah, it'll be about 3 years when it. Actually, 3 years. That's crazy.
Crazy. Like,
because
what I really I'm excited about the custom games. Like that's what I'm really excited about, and kind of like what everybody can do with the workshop and how easy it'll be to make videos. I think in the Overwatch, like that's what I'm more excited for with Overwatch, and that we don't have to wait 2-3 years into Overwatch 2's life development to get that type of stuff to when the point, it's already dead, the community's gone and stuff like that. So I think having those custom games will be awesome right at launch. And as a PvE streamer, like I'm excited for the PvE stuff. Like that'll be fun.
Can't wait.
But like I'm not like, I don't know. Like I don't know what they could do to make me go like, holy shit. Like this was sweet.
Well, I mean, that's so. I should also preface. We're going to talk about what we like. I'm just starting out by addressing all the people who are like, "Why is this Overwatch 2?" and agreeing with you that it's kind of a misnomer. It is an improvement and an upgrade, but it's especially this day and age when you hear a sequel. Like, I think that's kind of the problem is because of the nature of Overwatch. How do you really make what was a PvP only game a true sequel to where people would see it and be like, "Oh, this is a sequel." And I just don't think there's really a way you can do that with Overwatch. Kind of like Fortnite. Like that's why they named it like Chapter 2, Chapter 3. Because like what is Fortnite 2?
Well, exactly. They still call it Fortnite. They don't call it Fortnite 2, Fortnite 3.
Instead, they're just like Fortnite Chapter 3, Season 7. So I'm with you all there. And I think that's also what's hurting it for some people. When they come in like, oh, Overwatch 2, what is this new game? Wait, you're playing all the same heroes on the same maps. It looks the same. I'm confused. That's why. For me, it's more fun And the improvements, they're not as sexy. Let's say that. So like there is a new lighting system, which you can kind of tell, but I guess also I haven't played Overwatch in so long that it wasn't like a flick of the switch. I'm like, oh, that looks prettier, but it's not like huge.
See, you think it looks prettier?
Some of the lighting. I mean, everything else looks just about the same.
Yeah, the game I think kind of looks like shit.
What? I don't think it looks.
I mean,
bad.
I wouldn't say it looks like shit, but I think it just looks very meh.
Really?
I don't know.
I mean, it looks like Overwatch. I think it's fine.
I just expected, I think, a little bit more graphic wise. I just some places it just looks flat, and then some places looks great. Like it's just,
well, I think some of the problem though is too with Overwatch is it's a stylized game, so it's not like Call of Duty where it's like, oh, this is more photorealistic. Like you can't. There's only so much you can do with a game like Overwatch. So I think that's more subtle. But I think the ones they mainly drove home were lighting and audio. And audio, you do notice on especially a couple people, like Soldier's Gun is a lot meatier. Like Bastion, I think got so some of the audio has been reworked, which is cool. But none of that is what makes it fun. The stuff that makes it fun is essentially the quality of life and balance stuff. The stuff that kind of under the hood that if you're an Overwatch player who hasn't played in a long time, you click on Overwatch 2 stream, you don't immediately notice. But it's kind of the intangibles. So it's, first off, you don't even really notice it. But and actually, yeah, now I say it, like, you could tell me Overwatch 2 is still 6v6, and I'd like kind of believe it. Aside from the fact that I know I can't queue with my friends. But like,
yeah,
it hasn't hurt it in a bad way.
It also hasn't like helped it a ton.
I think it has some where it's less chaotic.
Yeah.
But I think where the fun comes from is the 5v5 because there's no longer 2 tanks. Because it feels like the more tanks you put in a comp, the more toxic it gets. That's where you start to like really like abuse things. And then on top of that, removing all hard CC from everyone except tanks. And like Ana, who has her sleep dart. So now if you're not a tank, nobody has shields, barriers, nothing except for Brigitte and like her.
I also didn't know Sombra's hack is 1 second.
Yeah. So now Sombra hacks you, and yeah, you're locked out of abilities for a second. McCree's grenade is just damage, and it sticks. It doesn't stun. Brigitte's bash is just a knockback. It's not a stun.
Really, I didn't notice that, but it's good that like I don't notice those type of things. Like,
and even in the tanks, a lot of people have had either barriers removed or just weakened. Like Reinhardt's is a little weaker. Orisa doesn't have it anymore. Yeah, but I mean that was kind of what they talked about. Like that's why they gave him a better charge, two fire things. Like
and
they want him to be able to do.
Sigma are the only like shield. Well, Winston, I guess too.
Right.
Like,
but yeah, there's like 3 characters now that have shields anyway, and you can't see 2 on a team. So what ends up happening is like fights actually just kind of play out, right? And that's why we went the whole day, and it was frustrating because we were getting stomped, but it wasn't frustrating because I was like, dude, like at not one point did I die, right? And I was like, dude, that's so stupid. Like, I didn't even get. They're just stacking. I can't kill them. They can't. It's like you actually just.
Yeah, it's like, oh, well, I got frozen by a Mei and just shot in the face.
Right. Yeah, Mei doesn't freeze anymore. Her ult does, but she only slows. It's all just those small things that even playing you don't consciously think about, but like you sit back and I was like, that was fun. You're glad
you don't have to think about it anymore, though.
Right.
Like,
it's nice that it's no longer a thing you think about every single game. And I think that's what's made it a lot of fun. On top of having a game where all the boys are playing all at once again. That's been fun.
Yeah. And that's like, I think the most fun I have is like, I can always, and like people are like, how do you like an Overwatch? And it's like, it's super fun, but like, I really won't know until like I solo queue, duo queue type of thing. Cause I can 5-stack with the boys in Rust and have a good time, you know, right. Dead by Daylight, dead. Like it doesn't really even matter. Like, so I always feel like, I can't judge a game until like I'm playing it like kind of by myself. But with role queue and all that kind of stuff, I think it'll be cool. I'm having a good time. I just wish they had more custom games for us to do in the beta, but I get it. Like,
They're testing.
how long
certain
does the
things.
beta run for?
It's like May 16th or 17th it ends. So like from the start, it was from this Tuesday when it launched. It was 3 weeks, I believe. We have 2.5 more.
It's a good time. I really like it. I'm having fun. Some of the heroes are totally different, and like I don't get it. Like Doomfist is a tank now.
Orisa though, sick rework.
Yeah.
Orisa is now not the most brain dead, boring champ who no one wants to play. Now I'm like, oh, sweet tank, Orisa.
I did like her pull though, but her javelin I guess is pretty cool too though.
Right. And I think part of the pull was just it was a little clunky, and then also part of that too was the frustration getting pulled. Like, it feels a little more fair getting hit by javelin and pushed or whatever, rather than a whole team got pulled and but like it's way more fun too than like I'm just throwing a barrier down and
then shoot.
Oh, and then
I'm
putting the bongo drum down and I think it's helping. I'm not entirely sure.
I think it's helping.
Yeah, so Reese is a lot more fun. A lot of it is. Supports got shafted though. 3 years, and there is literally like no change for supports aside from everyone gets some passive health regen.
And I think that is probably my biggest complaint about Overwatch 2 at the moment. I think like the next heroes, like I think they need to introduce like
heroes,
3 new support heroes at the same time type of thing. I think it would like change the landscape, give a new kind of breath to the game. I hate that that it's okay that they just release one hero and then they're like, that's cool. Instead of like if they did 2 at a time maybe or something like that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. When Overwatch 2 actually releases, there has to be, aside with Sojourn, like at least 5 new heroes or something. Because like some of these reworks, like Orisa, to be fair, does kind of feel like a new one, but she got like the biggest overhaul. A lot of the other ones are really small. Like it doesn't warrant 3 years of nothing for Sojourn, you know?
I guess Doomfist and her probably had the biggest kind of changes. And Doom isn't really even that different. He just kind of has a block and has more health.
And he has like a Winston jump now.
That's right.
But as someone pointed out, it's like someone queues up for DPS. 2 people get to choose between like 18 characters. You queue up for tank. Now 1 person gets to choose between like 9. And if you queue up for support, 2 people choose between 7. And there's like, there's just no. And to be fair, I can kind of empathize if they're like, we don't know what to do, because to be fair, with supports,
it is easily the one that could break the game the most.
Yeah, and there's only so much you can do, without suddenly like opening Pandora's box.
Yeah,
like see Brigitte release.
Like how would you make a support hero? Like I don't even know where to begin on what a support hero would look like.
Yeah, I'm not telling them like, oh, I know how to make one. It's just I think for the health of the game and especially for the sake of support mains, for them they waited 3 years and now they're playing. They're like, what's the only thing that's happening now are more things are diving me and I can't do anything. Like that's
or Dado, dude.
Yeah, Dado on Zen was on the suicide watch, man. Especially with Doom's. Doom was his nemesis.
It's cool that like with Zenyatta now though, if you get hacked by the sim, you don't go down to like 5 health immediately.
20 health. But overall, positives here. I think some of it helps too. Is I had my expectations managed. I knew what to expect from Overwatch 2.
Agreed.
And that's why I don't blame people who are out of the loop and have only heard Overwatch 2 and are now looking and are like, I don't get it. It's Overwatch 1, essentially. And so I think that's why the naming bit was, I think, more harmful, perhaps, if it had launched alongside how they initially planned with PvE. You could have made a better argument like, well, there's been PvP updates, but now look at this entire PvE section. But right now it's just There's a new hero and some new maps.
Yeah.
And then
No
balance
2CP
changes
either.
that a lot of people won't immediately notice.
See, and did they like put new maps in for the 2 CP maps that we lost? You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know.
So like I get we got 2 new maps, but we also lost what?
There's like
3?
I think 3 or 4 new. There's the Canada one with push. There's the Coliseum one with push. There is
Brooklyn Metro, right? The
the fire truck thing.
Yeah.
And then there's the and I think the push one is still the one with the whatever, the ice rink thing. There one more?
Oh, no, that's Brooklyn. The ice rink one I think is Brooklyn.
I don't know. But there might be one more. But there's like 3 or 4 new maps. But I don't know what they're doing with the 2 CP they took out. But I have a hard time believing they're just gonna drop it. I have a feeling they'll like repurpose them or something.
Yeah.
Or like use a lot of the assets to like kind of remake the map to work for like a push game mode now or something. But a lot of this stuff just isn't in the beta yet. Like a lot of the original Overwatch heroes, like their character portraits are updated, like Reinhardt and Mercy and Soldier and stuff, but they haven't actually added the in-game models yet or anything. So there's still some stuff coming. But it was nice proof that the balance change did do something, and the game's just fun right now, because we talked about that with the old Overwatch. Like, the Overwatch just kind of slowly crept into this weird place where it's like there are so many problems, so many core problems, I don't even know where to start. Like, it truly was. It's not like, okay, well, just like tuning this one thing or removing this one thing isn't going to change things. And so I do think the sweeping changes they made worked. I just wish they would have come out earlier. But it's here now. And I'm having fun.
It's definitely like a good beta. You know, of recent betas I have played, like the Halo beta and other things like that. It's definitely one of the more enjoyable betas. There wasn't a ton of issues in terms of like getting in, or I didn't have a lot of FPS drop. I know Shark kind of did.
Yeah, I haven't had any problems.
But it's a good time, and I'm having a lot of fun with it, and I just hope people like the custom games that come from it.
Speaking of Halo, though, Halo TV show. I just caught up on all but the most recent episode last night.
Okay, just you can spoil it. I don't give a shit. I'm not watching.
Well, I mean, there's not really much to spoil. I'm just gonna say this, dude. Chief, put on the suit, brother. It gets worse, man.
He doesn't wear the Master Chief suit?
He doesn't wear the helmet. He doesn't wear the suit. Like, literally in that first episode where you see Chief in his suit, was about 80% of the time I have seen him in armor.
God.
Not even just his helmet, in armor. Like, dude, what are we doing here?
What is he doing right now? Like, because the last thing I watched, he like dropped off that chick on the planet and then left. And I was like, I'm not
speaking of which, dude, that
I was like, I'm not doing that anymore.
Like, every scene she is in, they keep like trying to have this little like, you know, parallel storyline with her.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go through, do Fruit Director Cut, and just delete those. Take them away.
Is it almost like Finn and Rose's kind of thing in Star Wars? And it's just
exactly.
Like, why is this here?
Except there's not even Finn to make you be like, okay, well, there's some reason I should care about this. It's just that girl. And I'm like, I don't care about this girl. She gets on my nerves. And that's another problem I have with the show. Everybody's so stupid. Every main character. They're just the dumbest. Nobody's smart. And yeah, so I'm just sitting here. It's like, if you had told me this is just some sci-fi thing, I would have believed you, because I wouldn't know this is Master Chief. Dude's just walking around in pajamas all the time. And then
walking around in pajamas.
And then sometimes you'll get him in a suit. I'm like, okay, thank God. They'll show a scene where he's finally in a suit, his helmet. Like, there's some point he arrives on this planet.
Where's the action then? If he's not even in a suit, is
that's
just none?
It. I'll get to that. It goes like an episode and a half, literally, of screen time. You don't even see him in armor. And eventually gets this planet, the shot, he's in full armor. I'm like, yes. Finally, there's Master Chief within 2 seconds. Takes the helmet off for the rest of the episode. I'm like, why? Why are we doing this right now? Do we like? It's a joke, man. I
Can I
can't.
ask you
There's a dude
something?
under there. I've seen plenty of them. All right, you don't need to. Yeah.
What episode are you at?
I just finished 5.
Has a ring been introduced yet? Like,
no.
A fit. Come on,
but I
man.
think it seems like this
they've
next
talked
episode.
about it. I think
this next episode is gonna start to show something.
But you're
yeah,
almost at the end of the season now. Like
that's the action thing. We ended episode 5. Great, like 4 or 5 minutes. Suddenly I'm like, this is Halo. This is sick. And that's when I realized.
Like, where's this been?
That's when I realized the last time we had an action sequence essentially was the first 10 minutes of the pilot on that planet. That has been it.
And that action was like, okay, it wasn't like the best. It had its moments.
I like it more now because I've been drip fed. I have nothing else. Like, I have to enjoy it because
you're just desperate for anything.
There's no other action. So this was like the second time we've seen Spartans doing something. And it was a cool sequence. And it was a cool fight. He's fighting Covenant. It was cool. I was like, finally.
Hell yeah. There's Chief. I missed him.
And then, it was like 4 or 5 minutes are up.
I don't need my helmet to fight you.
So, like, I'm trying. I'm still going to watch it. But, like, I can't.
Do you think you're just watching someone's, like, fan fiction of Halo or something? Like,
it's getting real hard to separate. Because every time something happens, I'm like, that's not how this works. Like, it's just such a loosely... They took, dare I say, maybe a little too much creative freedoms. Right. Like
you got a 20-lane freeway.
At this point, I don't know. It shouldn't be a spoiler because it's like in the first episode or whatever. But the chick that is the leader of the Covenant or whatever, like one of the high goddesses.
That was like, I had this one of the weirdest things.
Did you know?
I learned this because she can talk to, or she can see the stone too, right? Or something like that.
Well, apparently that's supposed to be Arbiter. But they just made Arbiter into her as a character. Instead of Master Chief and Arbiter, we get Master Chief and Chick.
What is it? Does she have a name or like what
I don't
is
know.
like?
I don't know her name. Every time she talks, it's just a bunch of. I can't. It's
well,
just...
she like she can touch. She touched the stone too and sees things, right? And that's why.
Which that whole thing, that's not even in the games. But I'm like, okay, whatever, sure. I'll work with that. But then it's just.
That's their interpretation of like what's the other enemy type in like Halo 4 that like you find out it almost seems like they're Promethean type of architect or something. I don't know.
Oh, and then in one of the episodes you see like a little silhouette of a hunter. I'm like, oh shoot, this thing's about to mess them up. But then it doesn't show the hunter. I don't know where the hunter went.
The hunters are the giant things with the shields, right?
Right.
That,
like it disembodied in the worms and attacked people. I was like, where's the hunter, dude? I was telling Claire, I was like, they're about to get like Spartans have problems killing hunters. This is gonna be sick. And then you never saw the hunter. But like, why bother teasing?
But you saw it for like a second?
Yeah. I was like, why bother even teasing if you're not even? And instead they just like spread into these worms, and I was like, whatever.
You're like, never mind, babe.
So it's just like it probably would be better if I knew nothing about Halo.
Does this get a season 2?
Maybe, but I don't know if it's already greenlit. But
let me see. I'm gonna look it up.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying, but it's like every character makes the worst decisions, and then the story just. I wouldn't really say it's getting better. Just been no payoff. And then they keep wanting me to buy into things, and I'm like,
yeah, so season 2 is confirmed.
So much goodwill. Okay.
So season 2 is confirmed.
Who knows? I'm huffing copium. Maybe this was their whole setup thing, and season 2 is gonna be bang.
Have they had any mention of the flood at all?
No. Which is fine, because I actually thought at one point...
you want that to be the baddie?
Right, you got to build that up. We barely even know anything about the Covenant. And if they're just like, oh, hey, by the way... We
haven't even seen hunters,
Well, at one point, beginning of an episode, this, like, powered down Covenant ship like exits warp space, and they're like, we don't have any life form readings and stuff. And I turned to Claire and I was like, if they introduce the flood right now, I'm pissed. And it wasn't the case, but I was like, I swear to God. Who knows how they're
like do music or something like
who knows how they're gonna do that.
We're going to the library. Like, oh jeez. But that would make me watch the show if you're like, yeah, at the end of the episode they ended up going to the library. I'm like, all right, well I gotta turn it on now.
Yeah, so it's so hard. Somebody had a great point actually when I was describing it. They're like, when Miss Fruit was talking about like Master Chief and the way they should have handled his armor and stuff, should have been like the Mandalorian, which I think about literally perfect. The Mandalorian, you've seen his face throughout the season one time at the end, for just a little bit, but enough. You know, they're worried like, oh, people won't know Master Chief.
You can't connect with him.
I would connect with the Mandalorian just fine the whole first season, bro. Okay.
And the whole time you're like, come on, let me see his face. Like, come on, let me kind of see it. And then like you finally do get to see it, and it's like, now I have a face to the character, you know. But I don't. But imagine, I don't need that face.
Imagine it went so far though. Now you're like, Mandalorian, dude, put it back on, please. Put the helmet back on, man.
But I also get like just keep the helmet on. I don't get. He always has it off. You're saying constantly.
Yeah. And the bizarre thing is they'll do these shots and like emphasize the helmet. Like they know it's such a big part. 2 seconds later, psh. Like
they're just fumbling. I mean, would you like to guess what the audience rating is for Halo Season 1?
I'm worried it's high.
What would be high for you?
Anything above 50.
It's above 50. It's at 55%.
Oh, okay. I'll still consider that pretty. That's still
the critic rating is 69.
Nice.
Yeah, but how is it
really?
The critics
rarely, would you see critics, especially in something like this? I don't know. Maybe that's just it. Like as much as I try and disconnect myself, I still can't take away a lot of the things I know or expect. So maybe that is like ruining some of the show for me. But it's just like, literally, don't take anything, don't expect anything, don't assume don't know anything. Like, I don't know. It's just, pardon your regularly scheduled podcast listening for this short ad break.
Is your piece of plastic in your wallet doing enough for you? Because with the secured Chime Credit Builder Visa credit card, you can start building credit with everyday purchases and on-time payments. You see, with Credit Builder, members can increase their credit history with no annual fees or interest. And having a good credit score can mean getting a better car loan rates or renting apartments easier or just bragging rights around the dinner table. Let me tell you, building credit was something I wish I started on super early, and I wish I had something like this to help me build my credit. Would have made looking for a house a lot easier. So continue your credit journey with Chime. Sign up only takes 2 minutes and doesn't affect your credit score. Get started at chime.com/GGovereasy. That's chime.com/GGovereasy. The Chime Credit Build Visa credit card is issued by Stride Bank NA pursuant to license from Visa USA, Chime checking account, and $200 qualifying direct deposit required to apply for the secure Chime Credit Builder Visa credit card. Regular on-time payment history can have a positive impact on your credit score. Impact to score may vary, and some user scores may not improve. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. Life can be overwhelming, and many people are burned out without even knowing it. Symptoms can include lack of motivation, feeling helpless or trapped, detachment, fatigue, and more. With my experience with BetterHelp, they helped me identify my burnout, especially with like Twitch streaming and content creation, and helped me learn healthy ways of dealing with that rather than just feeling like sad all the time about it, and showed me good, healthy avenues to take rather than just the bad ones, you know? We associate burnout with work, but there's not only the cause. Any of the roles in life can lead to us feeling burned out, and BetterHelp Online Therapy wants to remind you to prioritize yourself. Talking to someone can help you figure out what's causing that stress in your life. BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you do not want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can be matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp, and GG Over Easy listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/GG. That's BETTERHELP TERHELP.com/GG. Those big wireless providers forget that families come in all shapes and sizes. That's why Mint Mobile decided to shake up the wireless industry with their brand new modern family plan. Each line starts at $15 a month, and you only need 2 lines to get started. No matter how big or small your family is, you deserve to save on your wireless service. Mint Mobile showed me that Sydney and I could be saving $65 a month on both of our phone payments just by switching to this family plan. For everyone who hates their phone bill, Mint Mobile offers wireless for just $15 a month. All plans come with unlimited talk, text, high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Plus, Mint Mobile's modern family plan lets you mix and match data plans so everyone gets the amount of data that's right for them. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and get the same phone number along with your existing contacts. Switch to Mint Mobile and get premium wireless services starting at $15 a month. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month, including the modern family plan, go to mintmobile.com/GG. That's mintmobile.com/GG. Cut your wireless bill to just $15 a month at mintmobile.com/GG. Because this is like, you know, in like Reach, or I don't think it was Reach, it was Halo 4 when Chief talks to like his creator, right? And that's kind of what they try and do here in this show, right? Is like he talks to his creator lady and she explains why he makes them, and that's kind of what you're trying to find out in this season.
It doesn't.
John confronts Dr. Halsey and the lies of his past. The new prisoner seems to know John better than he knows himself. What the hell is all this?
I don't know, man.
But you don't get to see like, do you get to see like how the Covenant live and like their society and stuff like that? I always thought that was really interesting. We haven't seen any of that yet.
So nothing there. But like that was it. Like they had that one action sequence. Like Chief was doing Chief things. Like he jumps off a warthog off a cliff to jump onto a Banshee and then unloads into the Banshee to crash it into like a Covenant ship to down that ship, and then he comes out of the flames. And I'm like, that's Chief.
That's something he would.
I was like, that's ridiculous. But then everybody like looks at him like, what was that? And he's just like, and I'm like, yeah. And then that was it. And that was it. Like, oh my God. So then after that, he's doing this to save one of his Spartans.
Do you care about the Spartans at all? Do the Spartans give you any feelers or no?
I don't know how I feel about him yet.
They're less stupid than the others.
He's going to save her, and this like dinosaur is just, you know, unloading an elite. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah.
Unloading Endor. And she's like about to die, and so like Master Chief comes over and like, bah, like shoots him with an energy sword or a pistol. He falls over and then just sits there, bah, bah, and just like bashes it in, and then like curb stomps and crushes his head. Like that was sick. The whole time he's doing that, the Spartan's going, Chief, no, stop, Chief. I'm like, what?
Like he's trying to kill you. Like, what do you mean? Like and like that elite has probably killed like so many innocent civilians, you know? Like, who fucking cares? You're Spartan. Like Chief, you ain't got no love.
Hey, was it like, Chief, you're going too far. Chief, he's a human weapon, brother. Like, was he gonna be like, did that elite?
And he's at this point, he's like
too many, you know.
At this point, he's like defecto from the UNSC, right? Like he has been like,
yes, no, because they've made up this whole like suppression pellets and stuff they put in, and they've lied to the Spartans this whole time. And so he took out his emotion pellet thing, and so now he's like
emotion pellet.
They spend 10 minutes of him in his spaceship going like, whoa, space, essentially. And it's just like, oh my God, brother. Like there's at one point he takes it out and he's just walking around the city and like listening to an instrument. Like, I just wanted to hear what it's like for them to hear it.
And this is supposed to make you invoke emotion from you going like, wow.
When I envision my Halo series, man,
the directors, they're like, yes, this is really gonna come across.
I think I'm the problem. As much as I tried to like put everything I know aside and be like, appreciate for what it is.
This isn't Halo. This isn't the Halo I know.
Right. It's just they haven't. I think what I was waiting for is like, I'll give you leniency. Just give me some fan service here and there. But it was 5 episodes of no fan service, nothing. Until that last fight, episode 5. So I'm just like,
yeah.
I'm having a hard time, and then as soon as I'm like, the show can't. It's fine. It's fine. It's not that bad. It cuts to the girl and her storyline, and that's not like that's it. They're like, there's times where she's like, she might die. I'm like, good. Just let's end this part.
Because that means the story's done.
Yeah, like let's wrap this up. Go back to. Oh,
I thought like they were done with her when he was like, all right, peace. Like,
me too. I was like, oh, thank God, we get to just go to no. And on top of that, she's the worst. She's just the worst. I have a hard time believing anyone is like, yeah, I like her. Yeah, it's been sick, dude.
I think she offers a lot to the story and the plot.
I mean, you should know if I don't normally rant or like tear some apart like this.
Yeah, this is like I was about to say, like on the level of a Star Wars rant.
It is.
They killed your boy.
I gave him my goodwill, and I'm running out of goodwill. All right.
Yeah.
So
this is like if Pokemon came out with an anime that was just like bad. This is like if our Legend Arceus was bad. You know, like they tease you with everything, and then Arceus is just terrible.
Like, I'll say this. You know what? It might not be for me, which is fair.
Who is it for then? If it's not for you, who is it for?
If someone else is enjoying it, I'm not sitting here telling you can't enjoy it. But if people who enjoy Halo can't enjoy it, then who is it for?
Exactly.
Like, I hope you're happy with your new broader audience. I'm pissed, man.
I'm going to read you a top critic review that is a good review.
I'm just a hater, I guess. I don't know.
It's certainly not the kind of disaster that typically emerges when a video game launch into other mediums. Only time will tell if fans want to keep watching or just wish they were still playing. Rating B, from Brian Tellicrio.
Well, Brian, I wish I was playing.
From Matt Carble. Overall, it admirably delivers an experience that does right by Master Chief's most loyal fans, while also inviting newcomers to dive into its engrossing universe.
Does right? They couldn't have executed on Master Chief any better.
This is what I added. That's what Matt Cabral has to say, man. All right? You take that over Matt Cabral.
Yeah, Matt, we'll have some words. Clearly, you're not a Master Chief enthusiast.
But okay, here's one from Henry C, and it's a half star. This is a half star review, so he's gonna tear into it. A disaster of a show. The creators and actors of the show obviously don't know what Halo is about. It is an entirely different story with Halo themes skimmed over. The plot, writing, dialogue, and acting are pretty cringe. Absolutely no respect to the Halo games or books. So many people are saying that it's a stoic Master Chief in live action wouldn't work. I wish they would just give it a go anyways.
Yeah.
Halo Landfall and Halo Forward Onto Dawn are both so much better than this new series.
Which isn't a high bar, but like that's that. I think the way he said it is perfect. This just feels like some sci-fi show that got the branding Halo, and like last second we're like, oh, we can use this stuff. Okay, that's Master Chief. This is Reach. Those are the Covenant. Like that's the best way I can describe it right now. That's what it feels like for me. And to all those people who are enjoying it, I tried. I really did. I tried to just. I wish I could do it. I tried to just forget everything I know and was like, let's just enjoy it. But I'm gonna be honest. I'll put it this way. If this wasn't Halo, I would have stopped watching. Like, if this was just a normal sci-fi show, space-themed, epic, whatever, I would have already given up on it.
Like, what's that one sci-fi show you like that's kind of political?
Expanse.
Yeah, so Yeah,
it feels at times like they're trying to do that, but if Expanse never got rebooted for another season, exactly. Like, if Expanse just didn't do any of that, right? Tough.
Man. I kind of want to watch it now just to kind of see this disaster, and then watch it while
you're not missing
something where I'm not really watching. Sydney and I did just finish Yellowstone. I don't know if you've given that a shot yet.
I haven't.
Yeah. I did. Yellowstone is sweet, and what's cool is like there's like a prequel to it called 1883, which like shows how they got the land originally, type of thing in that year. And then there's like another one coming out called like 1926, where it's like the little farm during the Great Depression and stuff like that. It's really pretty sweet. I just didn't like 1883 because I don't really like prairie life shows. So,
Oh, yeah. Oh my God.
what?
I was just looking at subscriber checks. I was curious if anyone had a take on Halo. Only Glitchy
Okay.
commented, but that reminded me. Poor Claire. I'm that person. But at the end of the fight scene or whatever, first off, Master Chief's making strategical battle decisions. He wouldn't, and put
Yes.
him in compromise. But that's relevant. So at one point, Covenant ships flying away, and he's like, "Oh!" And he takes his BR, his battle rifle, and he's shooting it. Except something's weird about the battle rifle. It's a full-out battle rifle. I was like, I can't.
I can't even.
There's one thing.
I can't even have a battle rifle.
Yeah, like the battle. That's one thing, man. And
I like how he's shooting like a giant ship, Covenant ship, with a battle rifle.
that.
Like,
Well,
as if
that. And at the start of the action sequence, he has an assault rifle on his back. So if you wanted him to fire full auto,
you have like
he literally.
there's continuity issues. Like, it's not even just like the story. That's like you can't even get the guns right.
Yeah, I mean, I was like slinked in my chair at that point, like kind of just finally accepting, like, oh my God. And I'm sitting there like, it's not, babe, it's not even a full auto. It's a 3 burst. Like, and she's just like, uh-huh. I'm like, I just can't, like, come on. There's one thing. Whatever, man. It's not bored.
Oh,
And then I'm just sitting there thinking about like all the
all the other shows you could be watching,
or shows they could have done. Still thinking about my ODST. Like, I don't even care at this point. Just make a show on Halo 3 ODST campaign. Screw it. Whatever. I'd watch that. I don't know. It's.
I saw this meme and it was about ODST and it was like that chick who's crying. And it's like, babe, please stop. You're not an ODST looking for his teammates. And then it's like an ODST and it's like jazz playing. It's like, sorry, babe, I gotta find my teammates.
I don't know. I don't normally rant, and I know I don't normally have such a strong reaction, but
Yeah, I'm glad we got to see it though.
That's my feelings. If you disagree, that's fair. Speaking of
anything else? Okay, you go.
yeah, speaking of reactions to TV shows that I think will probably in the near future, once it releases, have quite the debates and hot takes. Lord of the Rings star Sean Astin says he got chills from watching Rings of Power.
Really?
Yeah.
Which one is Sean Astin again?
He's Frodo's friend. Freaking.
Oh, he's Sam.
Yeah, Sam.
Or Rudy.
Is he just getting paid? Does he feel obligated? I don't know, but that's reassuring.
I mean, like, if you didn't like it, you wouldn't just say anything at all, right?
Right. Like I'd like to think, yeah, like if he saw it, his publicist would be like, cool, just don't say anything.
Yeah.
Whereas like, oh, I actually have something cool to say. They're like, okay, yeah, like say that.
Your voice would go a long way. It's exactly in the way like, hey, I didn't like it. Okay, keep that to yourself.
Yeah. Cool.
I bet if he signed like an NDA and they were like, all right, you can watch it, and he's like, oh man, I wish I could talk about it. They probably went rip and we're like, yeah, dude, like fuck it.
Yeah. Oh, you
like,
liked
go
it?
For it. Yeah, go for it.
NDA who? Yeah, that's fine. But he also, something interesting, which I didn't realize, is he was like, I don't think Amazon would be willing to pay $500 million or over $500 million for a franchise to not do it right. And that's when I was like, wow, dang, they spent $500,000 for Lord of the Rings. But then I was thinking about it. $500 million. If that gives them, I don't know if it's a license for just this show.
Or like toys and merchandise.
But that kind of seems like a steal.
For Lord of the Rings?
Because like, think about it.
How much was Star Wars? How much did Disney buy Star Wars for? That was like, I feel like $7 billion or something like that.
That's what I was, but like, there are some movies that gross more than that. You know what I'm saying? So it almost just felt like, I don't know.
Like a light investment for Jeff? Like,
Yeah,
Jeff, you can buy Lord of the Rings for $500 million.
Yeah, once you get up to that, like we have such a hard time actually quantifying just how much that is. But I don't know. I just feel like $500,000 for Lord of the Rings. That's got to be. I don't know. I feel like I'm walking away.
You're saying $500,000. It's $500 million.
$500,000,000. Yeah. So sorry. No, $500,000. I would have thrown my hat in. I'd be like,
Yeah,
guys,
hey.
put some in the pot. Like, come on, we'll go in. Even.
Yeah. I'll buy a steak.
Yeah. Well, 10%, 10%, 10%. Let's get in here. I don't know. Maybe that's. I guess the other thing too, though, is they have to have numbers. Like they were probably analytically driven, seeing like, okay, well, in the past X amount of time, merchandising, gaming, there wasn't a show, so maybe they were trying to extrapolate. See, that seems a little, because like it's gonna take some time for them to recoup that. But I feel like, I don't know. I guess the difference too is if they're doing a TV show.
Like, how do you, with ads? Like, you gotta make it back with ads. Or Prime services or Prime subscriptions.
You won't see that return as immediate. It's more of a
residual.
A long-term investment. But like, it's like I have a hard time thinking it's all Lord of the Ring license. It can't be. I don't know. Maybe it's just for the TV shows or something. Because like now, if Amazon can pump out whatever Lord of the Ring games they want, Lord of the Rings merchandising, more show. I don't know.
Okay, so Amazon paid a whopping $250 million for the rights, and this is February 11, 2022.
Only $250 million?
Let's see. Amazon. So this is telling me 1 billion bet. So it seems it's kind of all over.
Okay, no one knows, I guess.
Okay, so it says the mooted 1 billion cost $250 million for the rights, $750 million to film 6 series. So it was $250 million for the Lord of the Rings rights and $750 million to film 6 series. Whatever that means.
Yeah. Wait, what?
This is from The Guardian. And this was Tuesday, November 2017. So this is like right when it kind of happened.
I mean, all I know is I'm talking as if like, yeah, dude, that's chump change. Yeah, as if like that is realistic. But I'm just thinking as like, Jeffy B's picking it up. He's like, I don't know, maybe $500,000 or $250 for licenses.
I mean, the first season alone, so it was $250 million for the license. And then the first season alone is costing $465 million to make.
That's probably what he means by the $500,000.
Yeah.
Is like they're pumping that much money.
Amazon, so they bought the TV rights for Lord of the Rings for $250 million. Okay. So they're not making any films, they're just making a TV show.
See, I just for some reason I was thinking it's like they just got like the Lord of the Rings license. I'm like,
yeah,
Jesus,
that would be. I wonder how much that would. It'd probably be more than Star Wars, probably.
Because like that's nowadays. What I was saying. Like you just pump out one Lord of the Rings movie and you've recouped that. You got to think, right?
Oh, easily. Well, I mean, if you made a Lord of the Rings movie, it's going to cost $500 million.
Yeah, well, I was
thinking, you would have to make $1 billion to make half of that, or like to make double, I guess. Or just
so I guess that makes more sense. But yeah, that's got to be. Is that the most expensive TV show? Was Game of Thrones even that much for a season?
No shot.
Because I think before Game of Thrones, it was Rome, also HBO, and then I think Game of Thrones took it, and I want to see maybe now Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power.
So continue with that. Let's see. Okay, so the top 15. This is from Screen Rant.
Run it down.
Take that
sure. Start from top.
Updated as February 12th, 2021. So
okay, that's not
Deadwood, $4.5 million per episode. Westworld, $9 million per episode. Rome, $10 million per episode. The Get Down, about $10 million per episode.
I haven't even heard of Get Down.
The Get Down was a fantastic short-lived series on Netflix that had 11 episodes and a budget of $120 million for the entire series, making each episode about $10 million to make.
Oh, I feel like Friends, I know why it's so expensive, but the difference is 95% of that is just paying the actors.
Yeah. Band of Brothers, $12.5 million. ER, $13 million.
I
The
remember.
Crown, $13 million.
Really?
The Morning Show, $15 million.
Jesus.
Uh,
They've been pumping money recently.
$15 million.
Wait, what is that
The
one?
Mandalorian, $15 million. C, it looks like it has Jason Momoa in it. It's an Apple TV series.
Oh, I was thinking
Two twins with
SEA.
eyesight are born, which throws
Yeah.
the tribes into turmoil. Set in a future dystopian world, the series makes use of CGI in many instances, adding the cost of partial effects and salaries. Final cost episodes, $15 million. Mandalorian, $15 million. Game of Thrones, $15 million per episode for the last season.
Okay.
The Pacific, $20 million per episode.
Jeez.
Disney Plus's Marvel TV shows, $25 million plus per episode. And number one, The Lord of the Rings, total budget of $1 billion.
Jesus. I'm assuming that like licensing rights and stuff. Oh my god.
Yeah. That's
But what's so crazy, yeah, is like so many of those. There are a couple of those that are like 10, 15 years old. But a lot of those are like a year old, 2 years old.
The oldest one, like top three, the Pacific, that came back in 2010. So the
Band of Brothers was
Pacific,
early 2000, though, right?
Yeah, the Pacific of this day remains the most expensive limited TV series ever produced by them and in general as well. Producers Steven Spielberg and Tom Hanks didn't spare any expense when it came to the recreation of the bloodiest and violent battles of World War II. I need to watch that. That sounds kind of interesting.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
I haven't either.
That's just crazy.
Must be on HBO or something. Yeah, it is on HBO.
So much money. That's crazy. But yeah, so here's here's to hoping it's good. I assume Amazon's like, yeah, please.
Us too.
Yeah, like we're footing the bill. So
you're fitting the bill with your primes.
any primers? I always go through a couple last things I had here real quick.
Yeah.
This one's easy because the Blue's not here. We talked about it last podcast. Everything, everywhere, all the time, and I said it was great. Blue tweeted how it was like one of the greatest movies I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, he said it was fucking sweet.
Yeah, I wasn't
lying.
I
need to go see it now.
Yeah, go see it. Most people don't care about this because I always look forward to obscure games that are gonna die anyway. Skull and Bones, which was announced by Ubisoft like 3-4 years ago.
Game?
Yeah. That was announced like 3-4 years ago, and then just like they're kind of like, well, we're changing things, and then disappeared. They made an announcement today, and now there's been a leaked like preview.
Leaked footage.
Yeah, and I watched it.
Shows NPC mutinies and ship crafting.
And honestly, doesn't look bad. It looks like
is it
more
an MMO?
Realistic. No, the way I would describe it is it's a more realistic Sea of Thieves, is what it seems like.
So more so, but servers with real people in them.
Yeah.
Okay. Of like what, maybe 20?
I mean, we don't know specifics.
Okay.
But you can say it with friends. You can come across other players. They said you can play it solo. I don't know if that means like same thing as like Sea of Thieves. A little
mini ship.
Yeah, where like no matter what, you're in a player server, but you can play it solo. But you start out with like a small little ship. You go through, you build infamy, you make your own shit. Your ships will eventually get bigger. You go around, you gather resources, blah blah blah. I don't know, it looks pretty cool. I already know most people are still going to complain about, because I think this was the biggest complaint like 4 years ago or whenever they revealed it, was ship-to-ship combat when you board them is automated. And from what I could tell, this one was the same. I'm assuming it's going to be like get them X percentage weak. You know, like maybe they have like 20% health left on their ship. Go next to them, rope them, whatever, and then it'll initiate boarding. And how they described it in the footage was if you just shoot down a ship, think of it this way, like you're only going to get 50% of their cargo. And the other 50% is just considered to be drowned with the ship.
Yeah.
But if you board them, you can probably get all the riches.
Like you can plunder 90% of it before, yeah.
But so I'm sure a lot of people will probably complain, well, I want to board and do actual combat. Seems like that's just not what they're going for. So I won't judge it until I play it.
You play it.
Right. Like maybe it just makes sense. And I'm like, okay, yeah, it doesn't really make sense. Or I'm like, man, this would have made the game 200% better. Who really knows? The
Oh,
one
we're
thing
finally getting it though. I feel
Right.
like that was announced like 5 years ago.
I
Almost.
I thought it was just gonna die in like development hell.
I mean,
thought it
when
was
was
just
it
gonna
announced? I'm gonna look it up.
because we weren't getting anything they kind of said they were working on, and I was like 100% they're just gonna be like, you know what, we've lost too much money, we're just gonna shelve it. But
would you like to guess what E3 Skull and Bones was announced at?
no, I don't want to. 2017.
Yep.
Oh my god, 5 years ago, man. And I was like, oh,
crazy.
sick, dude. And then I'm like,
I can't wait to play that.
Yeah, I'm like, what happened? And the crazy thing too is, I remember when I went to early Division 2, I think that was around E3, gameplay capture. When I went there, it was like in San Francisco or some building. I was doing that, and on the other wing of this place, they were having people capture Skull and Bones. But we still hadn't heard anything. And I was like, how do I want to play? How did I get in there? And the thing is, everyone that went there, no one was able to use their footage. I didn't hear anything more about it. Like, it just disappeared again. I'm like, what the?
That's weird.
And then, like, and then they just pop up.
Like, how do I go and capture that? Like,
yeah, I was like, hey, sign me up for that. I've been looking forward to that.
Hey, just swap me.
Yeah, get on in here. So I'm excited for it. One thing I enjoyed. So it looks like you can play with your friends, but I don't think you'll be on the same ship because it seems much more like Black Flag Assassin's Creed, where like you're driving the ship and
your crew kind of runs around.
Right, and this is actually what I liked was you have your giant ship and you have a giant crew. Like it scales with your ship.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I like that because it makes it feel more alive. Like that was the one thing about Sea of Thieves, and I understand why, but it was like I'm sailing by myself, or like there's just you and me on the giant ship.
I gotta throw out the thing, shoot the cannon, and then they board my ship. I gotta like.
It's fun and stuff, and it's what they're going for, but like sometimes it just doesn't feel alive.
Like a pirate,
right? But this one, like everyone's doing, you give them orders, you see them running around. You also have to feed them, otherwise they'll literally mutiny you. Like they showed the dude's just coming up and like whacking you off the wheel and stuff. But like that little bit of immersion, because when I play these games, I like my immersion. So I'll give it a chance. I'm excited. I'm more just so excited to actually because Arios was the first one that showed me. He's like, hey dude, like remember this game? Oh my god, they just tweeted something. Because Arios and I have a acquired taste of odd, obscure games that not many people look forward to and probably die about on arrival. So he's like, dude, look at this.
Did you guys meet on Gotham City?
No, Modern Warfare 3.
Oh, okay.
But then we played a lot of Gotham City Posture stuff. But what the fudge? Oh,
Arios,
yeah, I explained to him. I was like, I hope it's good, but if it's just going to be mediocre, I would have rather them released it years ago and it be mediocre, and then we would have just been done with it.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's good. I'm going to play it one way or the other, though.
Or kind of like a No Man's Sky effect. Like now No Man's Sky's been out for the 5 years and it's kind of okay now.
But now it's like people love it.
Yeah.
So.
Also, speaking of Modern Warfare 3, Modern Warfare 2 was announced yesterday, I think.
And you're like, wait, Modern Warfare 3, Modern Warfare 2? Yeah. I don't know who was in charge of all this. But
yeah, but I don't know if it's a remaster of Modern Warfare 2 or if this is like
a sequel to the
Modern
reboot.
Warfare. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, which is bizarre. But so
because they used like the same logo as Modern Warfare 3 kind of looked like. So, but it was, I don't know, it's weird.
So for those unaware, next Call of Duty this year is going to be Modern Warfare 2, but not a remaster of Modern Warfare 2. It's a sequel to the reboot of Modern Warfare 2019.
Which sucks, because I love Modern Warfare 2. Like, that is...
But the good thing is, Modern Warfare 2019 was the first Call of Duty in a while where it was like, dang.
Call of Duty sick.
Yeah, like, they did it. They finally, like, impressed and met expectations. And then Cold War and Vanguard came out. So now I'm hoping, okay, a sequel to that.
Is this Infinity Ward?
Yeah. And I think it's because it should be going right about whenever their plans for Warzone 2 or whatever is. So, but But I'm excited. We know literally nothing aside from that.
Yeah.
And then there's been like reports like Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2, most ambitious yet, most powerful yet. And it's like, yeah, okay, they say that about literally every Call of Duty, so that means nothing to me.
They say that about every Bachelor season too. Like this is the craziest. This is the craziest ending.
It's that in every Todd Howard episode on Starfield, where it's 7 minutes of him sitting in a kumbaya circle with his developers. But it's the most ambitious game we've done, and there's like 3 concept images.
Wait, there's more episodes of that coming out? Like
there was another one recently. I didn't even bother to watch this one.
And all it is like concept art. Like none of it is ever like.
And then it's just really obscure buzzwords and like, we wanted the most powerful RPG system we've ever did. And then they don't actually explain it, but they're like, yeah, the player, like buzzwords,
interaction.
Like, yeah, like the player, the fudge is the word, agency. Experience? Player agency is better than the way they shape and form the environment around them. And you're like, that's cool. But I stopped believing in these kind of videos like 10 years ago.
When you made Fallout 76.
Well, you and everyone else in the video game industry burns me by trying to sell me all this stuff. Like, at this point, until I play the game, I don't believe anything.
Has Bethesda released anything since 76? Other than like DLCs and like...
I don't think so.
Dang. So they've just been really working on Starfield and...
Well, and
Elder Scrolls,
like they said too. Well, no, Elder Scrolls is still in pre-development. They're not working on it until they're done with Starfield. So that's the thing. They like announced Skyrim to just literally be like, "Hey, yeah, we'll make a sequel," and that was announced like a year and a half ago. But they're like, "Yeah, but we're not working on it. Like, it's not going to be in development until we're done with Starfield." So we're going to see Skyrim 6. Or whatever it's going to be called, Elder Scrolls 6 in like 2025, 2026 probably, if I had to guess.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, which is ridiculous. But I'm double checking their website. And okay, well, this doesn't help. It's also games they've published because they publish games. Bethesda Games catalog. Yeah, they had Doom Eternal. Was that
Doom Eternal? Oh yeah, Doom Eternal.
Was that? I think that was after, right?
After 76 for sure. Yeah.
And then
Doom Eternal is fucking sweet.
20 different Skyrim versions.
Yeah, then, we need to knock that off.
Then they have Elder Scrolls Online like expansions.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that was mainly it.
I've heard Elder Scrolls Online is actually pretty cool, but it's just like...
I played it for a while. Years ago. It is pretty cool.
But I've heard like recently it's like even better. Like, because I know Logan and Steven were playing it about like 2 years ago, and they were like loving it. They were showing me like this boss fight with a giant spider or something like that.
My only problem is like early game was really fun and combat looked really fun. And then I tuned in once to Summit playing it, and he was in like endgame. And I was like, if this is endgame...
Yeah.
Like suddenly the combat didn't matter anymore. It was a bunch of ability spamming. And because like the fun thing with early Skyrim Online 2 was like, oh, every ability matters. And like a lot of combat is very important, like blocking and melee or like backing up. Like it felt like you were making decisions in a normal fight.
Almost kind of like New World combat.
Right. But then when I was watching it, it was just spam, like less, and that's just
more,
like,
or so just 3 3 3 3
right.
3
and
3
some
2
people
2 2.
Some people like that, and that's fine. But that's why I haven't played most MMOs, because stuff like that just, and it became a lot more tab targeting. That was the thing with Elder Scrolls 2. A lot of it was not tab targeting, which is why I like New World as well. I'm just not a tab targeter. I don't know.
I want to see how many people are playing New World right now. If you there are 24-hour peak, 25k players in New World right now on Steam. It's not terrible.
Well, it's not what I'm sure they want.
No, all time though was 913,000.
I mean, look, I'm gonna be honest. Give it like a year, and I'll hop back in for a while. I mean, that was like, I liked New World.
I did too.
The problem was,
But servers were ass, and
well,
then
that
exploits
and then
became.
that's the biggest thing. Like, well, the two biggest things to me. One was the journey to getting to end game was so much fun, which is ironic because you're going to hear a lot of people say that was the boring part for them. Because like once you get around level 35 to 60, it's a lot more of the same. A lot of like town quest boards and blah blah blah. But see, I'm a freak. Like that grind of me just like I know what I'm doing.
It is something.
Number go up, monkey happy kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know why I loved it. And then I got to end game, and we already knew they didn't have much planned for end game. But then on top of that, pretty much everything that was supposed to be end game wasn't even working. And so I was like, what the fudge? So I kind of burnt out because frankly, I crafted the best armor at the time, which took me, I don't want to talk about that. Like I essentially done everything. So I was like, all right, not only that, but I've played about 400 hours in a month. I've never done this. I've neglected everything in life. I need to stop. So I did, but I really enjoyed the game. Like
hopefully
the core,
it comes back in a good.
yeah.
Did
the
you
core
see our
gameplay
server got
loop
wiped?
Wait, like our New World server?
Yeah, it gone. Like what was our server called?
When they like combined. I think ours was Kalnagor.
Yeah, isn't Kalnagor like gone? Like
might be. Well, so here's part of the problem too. So that was my first problem. The second problem, which was both what was interesting about New World, but also its detriment, was its player-driven economy. It's cool in theory, but what ended up happening was there was exploits every other day of new exploits where people would get like infinite gold, infinite items. And in a non-player driven economy, that's fine. It can be fixed, whatever. But once those were running rampant for just even a couple of days, suddenly gold was inflated. Nothing mattered. All prices were scalped. Like if you were working to get something and actually doing it with your own time, it's not worth it anymore because Joe Schmo over here duped it 2,000 times and flooded the market.
And you can just buy it on the market now for...
Right, and then they fix it once, and you're like, okay, well, that wasn't too bad. 2 days later, new infinite gold glitch. And it's like... So then it just... Because that was part of it, too. Like, part of it was like, oh, like, I can work and sell things on the thing and make a living. Or, like, if I want to... That was part of it, too. I leveled... At one point on the server, I was the highest armor. I was the only level 200 armor on the server. It was like, I could literally just, like, make a living armoring things for people. They pay me. But then suddenly it was like, okay, well now everyone's duping everything. Oh, all these ingots are super. Oh, and now everybody's infinite XP. Oh, and then it's like, okay,
yeah,
I hate it. But the other thing was the server capacity, because for the first week or two it needed to happen because there's only 1,000 people online at once on a server or whatever, 2,000, I can't remember.
Yeah.
And so they were having to like block new players from entering because queues were just getting ridiculous. It was like 18, 19 hours in queues and stuff. So instead they closed a whole bunch of servers, including ours, made new ones, which is fine, but that's not a long-term solution for a game that's going to lose players as time progresses. And it started dropping. And so the problem was, like, our server, for instance, stayed closed for a good while. So there was no influx of new players, and especially in a player-driven economy with like a pyramid tier system, you need people of all types, right?
Yeah,
you need new people.
The rich needs the poor just as much, as the rich want to be rich. Like
so, like at one point, for instance, when I was crafting, I was one of the first ones to be able to craft like better bags, and I was like,
you were really proud of that. I remember that.
Yeah, and I was like, dude, I'm gonna make a killing. And in 2 days, suddenly everyone on the servers passed those bags. And no new players are coming, so nobody needs the bags. So it's just immediately moot. So the problem was that kind of backed it all up. They finally opened it, but at this time, servers were starting to just like empty out. And what it became was like, you had like a 20 server list, and there's like 3 with like 500, and then others with like 80, 700, 80. And when it's player-driven economies and stuff, like,
yeah,
it just doesn't work. So then they eventually merged servers and stuff.
There's only 8 servers now on US East.
Yeah.
And I think that's where Kalganor was.
Yeah. So they had to like merge them and stuff, and so yeah, Kalnagor probably got lost. Sad.
You want to move on to Q&A?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Question for Papa Dadams in honor of the new film. What's your favorite Nicolas Cage film? National Treasure. Or Kick-Ass, actually. Probably Kick-Ass.
That's a good one. The thing is, I've always heard such good things about so many of his movies.
Oh, that one. There's one weird purple movie that has like a weird purple lens to it that he's in. That's a real artsy, weird movie that I know people really like.
I haven't given Nicolas. I have brought shame to Nicolas Cage's filmography. I need to see more of it.
Have you seen Ghost Rider?
That one I'm not sad I missed. That one has been purposeful.
that one can stay missed.
Yeah, I haven't. That one was. Let's see, like Pig. I've heard so many good things about that, but I haven't seen that one yet.
Let me
but do you know the backstory about this movie?
Pig?
No.
The one where he's like meeting Pedro Pascal or whatever?
The unbearable weight of massive talent.
Yeah, no, I do not know.
So, I wish I had like my older brother here, Dylan, to explain it, because he's pretty much seen it all and he understood the layers and stuff. But essentially, kind of what ended up happening, and I'm sure I'm butchering this, and I encourage all of you, if you're interested, actually just go read up and figure out more about it. But essentially, Nicolas Cage, big actor, making lots of money, was going into these films, a lot of them bangers, blah, blah, blah. But then, I guess he's known to kind of be eclectic and a collector and eccentric, and just kind of makes bizarre purchases. And so he would go through and essentially just blows through his money. Loses a whole bunch of money. He'll blow it on like weird like statues. He'll just go and just give him some random price and be like, yeah, I'll just take the statue for X amount.
All right.
And if you remember in the trailer of The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent,
I'll give you 15,000.
Yeah, he's like, that's grotesque. I'll give you 15,000. So the whole thing is kind of a play on his life. And the reason he's taking this job or whatever in the movie is because just like in IRL, the reason you're like, why isn't Nicolas Cage in all of these bizarre films that I've never heard of? Because of that. He has essentially got to the point and in so much debt, he just takes everything just so he can make money. And so I guess it's kind of like a play on his life and where he's gone in through it and stuff. So like, I remember seeing a comment or like a review about it, and just like a little excerpt was, it's a really great movie, but you'll get even more out of it if you like know Nicolas Cage's lore and filmography. So before I see that, I want to try and see some more things.
Okay, I'll give you one to watch, and I'll watch it too. And we we could do Pig. That's a Nicolas Cage film, or the one I've heard is really good is Color Out of Space.
Color Out of Space. Let me look that up.
Yeah, it's like it has like this weird purple lens to it. And I've heard it's just really good and really funny and awesome. Like, but it's like one of those super weird abstract movies.
It is highly rated. Sure, we can start with Color Out of Space.
A secluded farm is struck by a strange meteorite, which has apocalyptic consequences for the family living there and possibly the world. See, like what? Like that is what the movie's about, and apparently it's really good.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about that movie. We'll go to Chives here. It says, have you guys seen the trailer for the new Makoto Shinkai, the guy who directed Your Name and Weathering with You's movie, Suzumi no Tojima? Sorry, I'm fucking.
I almost understood the couple.
It looks pretty interesting, IMO.
Let me look it up.
Suzume, and then no, and then Tojima, Tojima. No, I haven't heard anything. Oh, yeah.
Shujime no Tajimari or something?
No, but those movies are super kawaii, though. So
yeah, I haven't heard about it. Something that a modern action-adventure road story where a 17-year-old girl named Suzumi helps a mysterious young man close doors from the outer side that are releasing disasters all over in Japan.
Yeah, his movies are always really interesting.
Yeah, I hadn't heard of it.
I didn't love Weathering with You, but I liked it.
Yeah, I didn't like it as much as Your Name, but it was still good.
Goo Boy says, howdy everyone. If you could change one thing about your favorite game, what would it be? Also, Fruit, please tell me you're going to see The Northman. Some friends and I are going to see it soon, and it looks awesome. Cheers, fellas.
So glad you asked. I saw it opening day. Oh,
And
didn't I talk about that last week? Because I saw it Thursday night.
no, you said. I think you said you were gonna go see it that day or something like that. I don't think you talked about it actually. Maybe you did.
Oh yeah, I was supposed to see it Thursday night, but we didn't, so I saw it after the podcast. Yeah. I've seen The Northman.
You liked it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Also, dude, Jesus, man's yacked.
Who?
Oh my god. Alex Skarsgård or whatever, the main actor.
He's just shredded in it.
Everyone in that movie was, but like his traps, dude. I couldn't watch half the movie, dude. I'm like, oh my god.
Traps are like the back
I was
shoulder,
like,
right?
Jesus, dude, how? He was ripped.
Yeah, and whenever I see someone with a super muscular back, I hate it because I just have back. You know, like I tried to always work out my back, and it was just
and I'm just sitting there too, looking at the scenes. Like he's got to be miserable right now. He's got to be dehydrated.
Oh, because like
he's
the
got
muscle, like,
and like 80% of the movie he's shirtless and jacked all the time. So I'm like, this dude must have. He's either a freak, or he's after every scene he's like, food, water.
If I could change one thing about my favorite game, which would be CS:GO, is that I'd be good at it. That I'm actually fucking good at it.
I don't know. I don't even know. I don't even know what my favorite game would be right now. Anyway,
Yeah, Sag.
I'd just say, I guess, games that I like that are more obscure. I wish they would survive. You know, I wish we were living in a world where we had like Battleborn 2 right now.
True. Treyborn says, was there ever a hobby you found really interested in and then wanted to start but never did? If so, what stopped you?
I have like a book full of things that meet that criteria.
I thought football was really fun, and I really liked it, and I was really good at it. And I stopped because I got a concussion, and my dad and my soccer coach interventioned me and were like, dude, what are you doing? You're a soccer player. Like, stop kicking footballs. Like, I was only kicking too. Like, I would have loved to play like a slot receiver, like maybe even corner.
Wow, how'd you get a concussion as kicker?
Well, I got a concussion at soccer practice. That's like the funny thing is like.
Oh, I thought you got it playing football. Oh,
no, I got it at soccer practice, which is the funny thing. And then,
well, they say that, but ironically, you probably had a better chance.
Yeah,
as a kicker and make more money, probably.
Yeah, it was a whole situation. But then I was like, all right, whatever, like fuck it. And then in my head, I'm like, well, fuck it. I'm not even
come back here, get more concussions over here.
Soccer in a couple of years, like fuck this shit.
I thought that made sense. I thought you were like, you did a little football, got a concussion from it. They're like, dude, what are you doing? It makes no sense that they're like, dude, what are you doing? Come back.
It was at practice at soccer, and then like I think like kickoff or like the season started, and I think my dad must have talked to my coach or something because my dad was not about it at all. I won't
have my son playing this.
I didn't get the kick, which I was really sad about. But then I also like didn't really give a shit. Like whatever. Now I don't have to go to football practice and whatnot.
Yeah, I have a gigantic list.
Okay.
Thanks, ADHD.
The counselor says, not a question, just want to tell Rob I was sorry to hear about Max. I just had to put down my dog because she had cancer and was in a lot of pain. It was literally the worst thing ever. I feel you and hope you in time you're able to heal. Thanks, dude. I appreciate that. Losing Max was probably the worst day of my life. But I have Willow and Albus now, which, you know, doesn't like fix it, I would say, but just makes the pain a little bit easier. But yeah, we're getting through it. Riles says, I know Mr. Fruit said he had bad knees when he was working out. Have any of y'all heard about knees over toes program? Exercises that are really good for strengthening knees and plyometrics for somebody with Osgood Schlatter. It helps a lot. No, I've never heard of knees over toes program.
Well, look it up.
Must be like all exercises have their knees like kind of bent over your toes type of thing, and that's what I would assume.
I mean, not a form issue. tried to do stuff like that too, but I'll look if there's like a specific program.
Sir Harmonic says, since I asked about swords last time, what's your favorite gun from any video game, movie, etc.? The fully automatic battle rifle from the Halo series is mine.
Is my favorite gun. Gun.
Oh. Is that like actually like, does it take out the clip and stuff like that, and that's why you have it, just to like learn and stuff?
No, just
that's not like a real. That's not a real gat, right? Like that's like a.
I'll find out. It's airsoft because this is the cheapest gun prop I could get.
Why did you need a gun prop?
What? You don't have one? Why do you make it sound like that's not something everyone gets? What are you talking about?
Was it from that short video you made, or you just?
Well, I'm gonna have it for more stuff.
Okay. And like, you know, if you ever need to like fake out a robbery, be like, you know, hey.
Well, I feel like I'm just gonna get more shot. If that's the case. More shot, I guess, yeah. It was like $25. But yeah, it was the only thing I could get. I'm trying to think. It would either be, unironically, the battle rifle from Halo, always so satisfying to use, or I know we're gonna make like hand cannons from Destiny. I know people.
150 RPMs to be exact.
Right.
Only though, right?
It's just like guns like that are just really satisfying. It's like why I suck as Cassidy, but I like to play Cassidy. Just using like revolvers and those kind of guns, and they're just fun to use. Like they're usually really satisfying.
We'll do one last one here from Classy because I have to start streaming here soon. Classy says mainly for Raw because I believe Blue and Fruit have seen both of these. If you're in the market for new TV, Daredevil, Disney Plus, and Castlevania on Netflix. If you haven't canceled the sub already, I did. I have canceled the Netflix sub. If I remember correctly, they've both been brought up on the pod in the past, but you shot them both down. Would especially recommend giving Daredevil a shot if Moon Knight isn't hitting you, and the fact that some of the DD's characters are in the MCU now.
I would say start with Castlevania. It's really good.
Okay, and that's like it's like an anime, right? Kind of thing.
It's Western, so it's technically not, but yeah.
All right, we'll do one last question here. So, because that's everybody. You have to delete one of these things from. This is from Fire. You have to delete one of these things permanently from your life. Between social media, music, movie, friends, sports, video games. It's pretty easy. I'm cutting out social media. That would like save me.
That or sports. Although,
sure
do they mean like consuming sports? Because I just don't play any sports.
I'm sure that would be like consuming sports, anything sports related.
But someone might say like weightlifting is a sport. So in that case, probably social media.
Actually, yeah, social media would be pretty easy. I mean, it's not. I could just be like, oh, I'm giving it up today because I'm a social media addict, unfortunately.
But wait, isn't that YouTube? Then I wouldn't have a job.
See, I was thinking so. Yeah. See, I don't
know. Hey, get rid of friends. Okay. Who needs them?
Okay, so if I had to if social media was like you had to find a new job, then I'm not getting rid of that. I would probably get rid of. Fuck.
Might get rid of music.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Either mute, but like I can't get rid of friends. Probably music. I think I could probably get rid.
Yeah, the only music I listen to is sometimes when I'm working out. That's it. So yeah, I feel like I'm most flexible.
I don't just sit around and listen to music. I've never been that type of person. Like I know people like need music to work and stuff like that. Like I've had roommates that just listen to music while they did homework and stuff like that. I'm not that type of person at all that just like listens to music.
I'm with you.
All right. Well, that'll do it for the GG Over Easy podcast, episode 132. One.
Think. I don't know.
Thank you guys all for listening, watching. Thank you, Stans, for being here live during it. We really appreciate it. Hopefully next week we find out if Blue's okay.
Yeah, thank you, Blue. Appreciate you.
You guys can find me everywhere on the internet.
You can find me everywhere off the internet.
Nice.
Bye.
Because you gave it up.
That's right.